Why? And had always been the quiet one in her group of friends, preferring the comfort of her books to the CZY parties she attended while in college. But this evening was different. She went to one of the biggest parties of the year tonight thanks to her best friend's stubborn convincing. There was loud music, dim lighting, and an electric atmosphere. Why? And felt a tap on her shoulder as she tried to be Euro in with the background. Upon turning around, she noticed that her college roommate, Jungkook, was GRN. NG mischievously. Jungkook. Hey, why? N. He said in SMOTH, assured voice. Jungkook. Idea Ryu to key $$ me. Why? N startled eyes W. Euronet. She never would have imagined that Jungkook would even know her name, much less DRE. Her to key $$ him. Even though she had always admired him from a distance, the thought of the challenge made her heart race. The room seemed to disappear and the two of them were left alone in their own little world. Why? And took KD Euro PBRTH and made the decision to jump. She took a step toward Jungkook and Euro his gaze. She got the courage she and Euro did when she saw the expectation in his eyes. LNINGN. She $$ at her PS to his. The sweetness of the moment BL Euronding. With the tea at scent of strawberries from her LP bomb. She felt the WRNTH of Jungkook's ember CE as their key $$ D Euro penned upon. Eventually real at sing their GRP. They were out of beer Euro at TH. Jungkook gave her a more in Euro knees. Lick them before, Jungkook. Your PS tastes like strawberries with a husky voice. He whispered, I believe I am ops $$ at. Why? And blue $head, feeling her heart race at his words though she was unsure of what why ahead. She was certain that this was only the start of something truly remarkable at that very moment. For why? And the days after the party were hectic. She was ops $$ at. With the key $$ and Jungkook's expression on her face. It seemed as though he had actually seen her for the first time. She noticed that she was thinking about him and wondered if he felt the same. She was L0ASD in a book one afternoon under her favorite campus tree when she heard a familiar voice. Jungkook. Mind if I join you? Glancing up, she saw that Jungkook was standing there GRNNG. Shyly, when she nodded and gave him space on the bench, her heart SK. PPDAB Euro with his gaze SW ping over hers. Jungkook. I've been thinking about you. About that key $$. Why? And blushed, her mind racing. Why? Me too, she conveyed $$ at. It was unexpected, with amusement in his eyes. Jungkook laughed. Jungkook. Indeed, it was. I don't regret it though. Actually, I was hoping we could redo it. Perhaps somewhere a bit more PR. Vate. Her TH her at congealed with BRTH. Why? Jungkook. Are you asking me out on a date? With a sincere expression. He nodded. Jungkook. Yes, I am. What about tonight's dinner? Why? And felt her heart lift. Why? I would adore that. Jungkook took Y. Into a small, cozy restaurant on the outskirts of town that evening. They exchanged dreams and stories while conversing and laughing. They had a clear chemistry and by the end of the night, they could feel something unique beginning. She felt verse run down her SB. As Jungkook took her hand, and they walked back to campus. He turned to face her with longing eyes when they arrived at her dorm. Jungkook. Can I key $$ you again? With a smile, Why? N's heart was racing. Why? N. Yes. The key $dollar was a SL0W and T under this time, full of promise. At last. They sate but rated, and Jungkook lid his forehead against hers. Jungkook. I think I'm falling for you. Why? N. Whispered. For why? And Jungkook. The weeks that followed were like a dream. They explored the city, studied in the library and laughed, and shared secrets together for as long as they could every day. That went by. Their relationship got CL0 and stronger, and it became obvious to everyone around them that they were reply in love. While walking through a peaceful park one evening, Jungkook paused and turned to face Y. And his expression, serious. Taking her hands in his. Jungkook, I need to tell you about this. I have been given the opportunity to study overseas for a year. Although it's a fantastic opportunity, I must leave soon. Why? And felt her heart sink. It was intolerable to consider being separated from Jungkook. Her voice trembles as she questions. Why? N. When do you have to leave? Jungkook. In 2 weeks. I didn't want to ruin what we had, so I held off on telling you. But I'm at a loss for how to keep it from you now. Why? N's eyes filled with tears. Why? N. I wish you would stay. But I understand how important this is to you. Jungkook pu. At her into a GHT hug. Jungkook. I don't want to leave you either. His voice full of emotion, but I promise that no matter where I am, you will always be in my heart. And I will get back to you. They spent the next 2 weeks sharing every moment together, creating memories to last a lifetime. On the day Jungkook left Y and stood at the airport, holding back tears while shing him Tli. Y. N. Promise me you'll come back. Her voice be a euro aching. Jungkook. I promise. Key $dollar ing her softly. And when I do, we'll CK up right where we left off. As he walked away. Y. And felt both sad and hopeful. She knew their love could withstand the distance, and she clung to the promise that they'd be together again. Jungkook had been away for a year, studying abroad. During that time, Y and Jungkook kept their promise to each other, communicating via video calls, messages and letters. Despite the distance, their love grew stronger. Finally, the day arrived when Jungkook was scheduled to return. Y and couldn't contain her excitement as she waited at the airport, her heart racing with anticipation when she saw him walking towards her with a big smile on his face. She ran into his arms, tears streaming down her cheeks. Y. N. I missed you so much, whispered, holding him tightly. Jungkook. I missed you too. His voice filled with emotion. I'm never letting you go again. They spent the next few days catching up, swapping stories from their time apart and making up for L0 time. One evening, while they were sitting on a hill overlooking the city, Jungkook took Y N's hand and looked into her eyes. Jungkook. Y N, there's something I've been wanting to ask you. His voice rumbling GHTLY. Being away from you made me realize just how much I love you and how I can't imagine my life without you. He reached into his pocket and took out a small box, opening it to reveal a lovely ring. Jungkook. Will you marry me? Y and gasped, her heart swelling with joy. Y N. Yes, Jungkook. Yes, eyes welling up with joy. Jungkook placed the ring on her finger and key $dollar at her $. Innately, sealing their promise to each other. They were confident that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, their love stronger than ever. Why? And Jungkook's wedding was a beautiful celebration of their love, complete with friends and family. The ceremony took place in a picturesque garden, with flowers blooming and the sun shining brightly. Nobody in the audience was dry as they exchanged vows. Their life as a married couple was full of happiness and adventure. They relocated to a cozy apartment in the city where they created a home full of love and laughter. Jungkook continued his studies and music, while Y and pursued her $iron for writing, often drawing inspiration from their shared experiences. One evening, as they sat on their balcony, watching the sunset, Jungkook turned to Y and with thoughtful eyes, Jungkook, do you remember the first time we $ed? A smile, playing on his LPS. Y and laughed and nodded. Y N. How could I forget? That was the beginning of everything. Jungkook grabbed her hand, his eyes filled with love. Jungkook, I want to make a new memory, said softly, one that will cherish forever. He stood up and at her to her feet, then held her hands. The apartment was dimly lit, with candles flickering and soothing music playing in the background. Jungkook lured her to the center of the room, where he had set up a small table and prepared a delicious homemade dinner. Jungkook, I wanted to recreate our first date, he confessed, his voice soft, to remind us of how far we've come and how much we mean to each other. Why? N's heart swelled with emotion as they sat down to eat. They reflected on their journey, from that daring $dollar at the party to the difficulties they had faced and overcome together. After dinner, Jungkook took her hand and lured her into the living room, where they danced slowly, in each other's apartments. As the night came to an end, Jungkook whispered in her ear, I love you more than words can express. Why? N. Thank you for being my everything. Why? N smiled, her heart filled. Why? N. I love you, too, Jungkook, forever and always.